Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this fun and exciting episode. Today, I have a great story for you, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Improve your English through this interesting story. Before we start, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Get ready. Let's start.
The journey of my first job. My name is John, and I want to tell you about my first job. It was a time that changed my life in many ways. I was 22 years old when I started working in a small shop in my town. I had no experience, but I really needed the job. My family was going through a tough time, and I wanted to help. I thought to myself, if I work hard, maybe things will get better. I had just finished my studies, and like most young people, I was full of dreams but unsure about how to make them come true. Finding this job was my first step into the adult world, and I had no idea how much it would teach me about life, work, and myself. The search for a job had been long and tiring. I had applied to many places, but no one seemed interested in hiring someone with no experience. I remember feeling discouraged at times, wondering if I would ever find a job. But then I saw that sign. We need a shop assistant. Apply inside. It was like the universe was telling me that this was the opportunity one had been waiting for. I saw the job advertisement one day when I was walking through the market. There was a sign in the shop window that said, "We need a shop assistant. Apply inside." I had never worked in a shop before, but I had nothing to lose, so I decided to go in and ask. My heart was racing as I entered the shop. It smelled like fresh wood and old books, with shelves neatly arranged on both sides. There was something about the quiet atmosphere that felt both welcoming and intimidating at the same time. When I walked inside, there was a man behind the counter. He was tall, with glasses and gray hair. He looked like the kind of person who knew everything about the shop. He smiled when he saw me. "Hello, how can I help you?" he asked, his voice friendly but firm. "I saw your sign outside," I said, feeling a little nervous. "I want to apply for the job." The man looked at me for a moment, then nodded. "You look like someone who can do this job. Come tomorrow at 9 a.m. and I will show you around." I couldn't believe it. I was so excited I almost forgot to thank him. I ran home to tell my mother. "I got the job," I said. "I start tomorrow." She looked at me with a big smile and said, "I knew you could do it, John. I'm so proud of you." I couldn't wait to get started. The next morning, I woke up early. I put on my best clothes, ate a quick breakfast, and walked to the shop. I was nervous, but also excited to start my new life. I had no idea what to expect, but I knew this was a big opportunity for me. As I walked through the streets of the town, I thought about all the things I had heard about working in shops, dealing with customers, handling money, learning new skills. My mind raced with thoughts of what I might face. Would I be good enough? Would the customers like me? What if I made a mistake? When I arrived at the shop, the man, Mr. Clark, was already there. "Good morning," he said with a warm smile. "I'm Mr. Clark. Welcome to the shop. Let's get started." He showed me everything: the products, the shelves, the cash register. He even showed me how to greet customers and help them find what they needed. I listened carefully and tried to remember everything. The first few hours were a blur. I was so busy helping customers that I didn't even have time to think about how nervous I felt. I was amazed at how fast everything moved. There was always something to do, someone to talk to, and something to learn. The time seemed to fly by, and before I knew it, it was lunchtime. At lunchtime, Mr. Clark told me to take a break. He asked if I wanted to sit down for a moment. I told him I was fine, but I was actually feeling tired. It was hard work, but it was also exciting. I was learning new things every minute. As I sat down for a brief break, I couldn't help but feel proud of myself. I was doing something important. I had a job now, and that made me feel grown up. There was no turning back. I was part of something bigger than myself. The afternoon went by quickly. Customers came in, bought their things, and left. I helped them, smiled, and said goodbye. I felt good when I made people happy. It was a simple job, but it felt important. At the end of the day, Mr. Clark said, "You did well today. Keep it up." I left the shop feeling proud of myself. It wasn't easy, but I had done it. I had made my first step into the world of work. Over the next few days, I started to get used to the job. I learned where everything was in the shop. I learned how to deal with the cash register. I learned how to help customers find what they needed quickly. The shop became a second home to me. I spent more hours there than I had ever spent anywhere else. Slowly, I got to know the regular customers, and they got to know me. It felt like I was building relationships, not just selling products. One day, a man came into the shop looking upset. He was holding a box of tea and shaking his head. I could tell he was frustrated, but I had no idea how to handle the situation. "This tea is bad," he said, pointing to the box. "I want to return it." I didn't know what to do. I had never dealt with a return before, but I remembered what Mr. Clark had told me. Always stay calm and be polite. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry about that. Let me check the tea for you." I looked at the box and saw that it was expired. I had learned how to check the dates on products during my training, and now it was time to put that knowledge into practice. "I'm sorry, sir," I said. "This tea is out of date. Would you like to choose another one instead?" The man stopped shaking his head. He looked at the tea and then at me. "All right," he said. "I'll take a new one." I smiled and went to find a fresh box of tea for him. When I handed it to him, he nodded and thanked me. I felt relieved. It wasn't easy, but I had handled it well. I was learning how to solve problems and make customers happy. In the weeks that followed, I became more confident. I started handling returns and exchanges on my own, and I got better at solving problems. Every day, I felt myself becoming a little more experienced. As the weeks went by, I became more comfortable in my role. Mr. Clark trusted me more and more. He asked me to do different tasks, clean the shelves, organize the stock, and even run the cash register by myself when he was busy. I started taking on more responsibilities and felt like I was really contributing to the shop's success. One day, Mr. Clark told me something that surprised me. He said, "John, I'm going to be away for a week next month. Can you run the shop while I'm gone?" I was shocked. "Me? By myself?" "Yes, I trust you," he said. "I know you can do it. You've been doing a great job so far." I felt nervous, but I didn't want to let him down. I said, "I'll do my best." The week Mr. Clark was away was the busiest week I had ever had. I had to open the shop every day at 9 a.m., serve the customers, and keep everything organized. But as the days passed, I felt more confident. I even started to make small changes to improve the shop. I rearranged some of the products so they were easier to find. I also started giving customers small discounts to make them feel appreciated. The customers seemed to like it, and I felt proud of myself for making a positive impact. At the end of the week, Mr. Clark returned. He looked around the shop and nodded. "I'm impressed, John," he said. "You did a great job." I felt proud. I had taken care of the shop by myself, and everything had gone smoothly. A few months later, things started to change. I was now the assistant manager of the shop. I had more responsibilities and was making more money. Mr. Clark trusted me to handle more difficult situations. I had become an important part of the team. I had worked hard, and it was paying off. But even with all my progress, I knew that there was still so much more to learn. One evening, after closing the shop, I sat down with Mr. Clark. I've been thinking, I said, maybe one day I could open my own shop. I had been dreaming about it for months. I wanted to build something of my own, just like Mr. Clark had done. He smiled. I think you would be great at that. But remember, it's not easy. You'll have to work hard. I know, I said, but I'm ready. I want to try. I had big dreams, and I knew that I had to start small. One day, I hoped to open a shop of my own. Days passed quickly, and I felt more and more comfortable in my new role. Every day, I learned more and gained new skills. One day, Mrs. Julie, one of the regular customers who often visited the store, made an interesting suggestion. She mentioned that she had started a small business from home and was looking for someone to help her set up her online store. This offer caught my attention because I had always been interested in the world of digital marketing and online business since school. John, would you be interested in helping me? She asked. I thought for a moment and then replied, yes, absolutely. I've always wanted to learn more about that. That evening, after my shift, I went home and spent the whole night researching how to set up an online store and sell products through the internet. The more I read, the more I realized that this new world could offer so many opportunities. From that day forward, working at the store, along with learning and helping Mrs. Julie with her business, became an exciting side activity. Little by little, my confidence grew. I was learning how to handle more complex problems, deal with dissatisfied customers, and manage my time better. These were skills that I appreciated every day, and I made sure to learn from every experience that came my way. One day, I went to Mr. Clark's office to ask him to talk more about the processes involved in managing the store. He looked at me with a smile and said, John, you've learned everything so quickly. Now it's time to pay more attention to the details. Don't just look at the shop. Look at how you can improve all the processes. Learning management doesn't mean just selling products. It's about figuring out how to make everything work more efficiently. That day, I learned a lot, and from then on, I started looking at things from a more comprehensive perspective. Instead of only thinking about the daily tasks at the store, I began to focus on how to improve the entire process. I started to examine the details, from the arrangement of products to interacting with customers and even planning store promotions. A few weeks later, a special customer came into the store. He was a middle-aged man, neat and serious looking, and it seemed like he was looking for something specific. He asked me if I could find a particular collection of rare products for him. After a few minutes of searching, I realized he was looking for a rare collection of books. Requests like these were a new challenge for me, but I did my best to find what he needed. This collection is quite rare, but I can introduce you to one of our main suppliers. Would you like me to help you with that? I said. He looked at me for a moment, clearly impressed with my effort. Yes, please, he said. Over time, I became more adept at managing customer needs and finding solutions for them. I realized that it wasn't just about selling products. It was about offering value to the customers and making their experience in the store memorable. This mindset helped me develop a new approach to customer service, and soon I was handling more challenging tasks, including returns, exchanges, and customer complaints. One evening, after closing the store, Mr. Clark sat me down for a conversation. John, you've been doing well. I'm going to take a short vacation next month. I need you to manage the store while I'm gone, he said. I was shocked. Me? On my own? He nodded. Yes, I trust you. You've done a great job so far. I'm confident you can handle it. I felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. I wasn't sure if I was ready for such a big responsibility, but I didn't want to let Mr. Clark down. I'll do my best, I said. The week Mr. Clark was away was the busiest week I had ever experienced. I had to open the store every day at 9 a.m., serve customers, and keep everything organized. As the days went by, I became more confident. I even started making small changes to improve the store. I rearranged the products to make them easier to find and began offering small discounts to loyal customers to make them feel appreciated. The customers seemed to like the changes, and I was proud of the impact I was making. When Mr. Clark returned, he walked around the store, inspecting everything. I'm impressed, John, he said. You did a great job. I felt a sense of pride wash over me. I had managed the store on my own, and everything had gone smoothly. A few months later, I was promoted to assistant manager. I had more responsibilities, including managing the store's stock, handling more customer interactions, and ensuring that everything was running smoothly. Mr. Clark trusted me with more difficult situations, and I felt honored to be part of the team's success. I had worked hard, and now I was reaping the rewards. But even with all my progress, I knew there was still so much more to learn. One evening, after closing the store, I sat down with Mr. Clark. I've been thinking, I said, maybe one day I could open my own store. He looked at me thoughtfully and smiled. I think you'd be great at that. But remember, it's not easy. You'll have to work hard. I know, I said, but I'm ready. I want to try. His words meant a lot to me. Mr. Clark had been more than just a boss. He had been a mentor. He had taught me the importance of hard work, patience, and perseverance. He had believed in me even when I doubted myself, and that belief gave me the confidence to chase my own dreams. And so, my journey continued. Every day, I learned new things. I worked hard, and I did my best. I knew that one day, I would open my own store. And when that day came, I would be ready. I had learned so much from my time at Mr. Clark's shop, and I was excited to take the next step in my journey.
Thank you so much for listening to the story. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new today. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. Your support means a lot and helps me create more amazing stories for you. See you in the next story.